Hello, it's me again. Um, in my first video, I talked a little bit about my relationship with my mother and how I'd hope to rebuild that. Um, I lost my family years ago. I haven't seen most of my family in over 20 years. And, I don't even know where my youngest brother is. I've spent years putting up walls of protection. And with my mother getting in contact with me, I let those walls down for a little bit. And I know I'm jumping the gun because it's still early, but she's not answering my emails and she's not answering my calls. I was worried about this after hearing what had come up in the district convention and the subsequent magazines. I'm just really having a hard time today. I gotta put the walls back up brick by brick and get back in my little cocoon of protection. But I do warn you that if you're reading the books and Crisis of Conscience and all of those when you're in a pretty tender state, probably not a good idea. Just when I thought that I couldn't get surprised by anything. Slanelkla. You need an easier name, dude. He talks about how you get past the anger, but every once in a while it would creep back up, and that's going on with me. I'm getting very nervous about my mother, and feeling very raw right now about losing her again. It's tough. But then you read these books, and every time I thought I was over being surprised by the Watchtower Society. But I told you before I hadn't finished reading Crisis of Conscience, and to find out how they feel in their little tower about us down below, it really pisses me off. It pisses me off because I was so deceived for so long. It pisses me off because so much of my family is still tied into it, and I can't reach it. And it pisses me off because they had their hooks in me even 20 years later. Propaganda techniques was always talking about the rank and file witness, and back when I was first watching these videos, I was still in the afraid of apostate stage, and I just thought how harsh that was, that he'd call us all rank and file, and turns out there's a very good reason that he uses that particular term, because that is the way the governing body views us. We are the rank and file peons down below. And they're so bold about it, they even put it in the literature. We're just the rank and file. in reading this and this Crisis of Conscience book, and it's amazing how these men, they took away our heavenly hope. It's not scriptural. They just took it away. How they took away Jesus as our mediator. There's no scriptural basis for it. They just took it away as a means of control. And when the murmuring started, the hard one apparently was the losing Jesus as our personal mediator. And there was a murmuring going on in Brooklyn, and he talks about he found himself in the midst of a storm of near fanatical intensity, because people were obviously shaken up for that. One minute we have Jesus as our own personal mediator, and the next Watchtower magazine we don't. And people were very concerned. The question that kept coming up through Raymond's ministry when he was traveling abroad was, not even in prayer. We don't have him even in prayer. And he was becoming more and more upset. And they call it the Big Purge of 1980 because all these murmurings were going on. And it kind of explains why I was treated so harshly for my failure to get baptized. Because I think I was caught up in that. It was the right time frame for that frenzy. But the thing that absolutely killed me and made me decide to post was when the murmurings were going on and the governing body, more specifically Fred Franz, the president. I'll just read it. So the murmurings are going on. People are questioning, and they're not outwardly questioning. It's not like there's a revolt going on, but they're having a little trouble with this. Jesus is no longer the mediator for all. And says the society's president, Fred Franz, was presiding at the morning Bible text discussion. In his comments, he stated that some were questioning the society's position set forth in the Watchtower that took Jesus away from us, that Jesus Christ is the mediator for only the anointed, and not for the millions of other witnesses. He said of such ones who were murmuring, they would merge everyone together and make Jesus Christ the mediator for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. We're every Tom, Dick, and Harry. We're the rank and file. We're the peons. We don't deserve to have Jesus as our mediator as far as he was concerned. This is a harsh book to read, I told you. And some of their big changes, they had trouble. Not like the big purge, apparently, of 1980, but, they just tightened the screws and became more dogmatic and more controlling and more. But finding out, I was struggling with the motivation for the governing body. I mean, I was still holding out that they were not evil. And seeing the truth of what's going on in there. They are evil. They are evil. It's all about their power, keeping their position protected, keeping us rank and file peons down below, in line, in check. And just finding this out with the added pressure of my mother and most of my family is still tied in that. I'm just struggling today. I just needed to talk about it.